Bitcoin, the driver of the crypto markets, looking very shaky right now. I've been talking about this bearish situation for Bitcoin that it needs to break out of before we can have a bullish cycle, okay? Before this bullish cycle can go on. Are we still going to have a bullish Q4? What is the timeline looking like for Bitcoin in the short term? We're also going to be taking a look into some scenarios that could potentially answer those questions, as well as a few altcoin setups, some of which are requests by my viewers. One of which is going to be the MYRO coin, the meme coin. It is a smaller altcoin, which is riskier at this time, but we're going to be taking a look into some setups, some trading patterns for MYRO, for NEIRO, and for Book of Meme. See what's been happening with some of these coins. What are their current trading setups, price targets, where they could potentially go, of course. And we're also going to be taking a look into a few headlines for major news. So let's go ahead and get started, okay? Let's take a look into the news first before diving into the charts. I'm going to give you guys my instant reaction to some headlines that are happening today. This is by News BTC. Analysts review the chances of the XRP price rallying to 300%, rallying 300% to $9 this bull run. So there is still some bullish news in the markets. I'm still bullish on the markets. I am still long on Bitcoin. I am still long on quite a bit of the altcoins here. So my opinions on this market are still bullish. Yeah, despite the really shitty price action that we've been having for the past couple of weeks, for the lack of better words. But I'm still bullish on this market. I know that this bull cycle has been anything but straightforward, but the major signs here that I've been arguing are still intact, okay? And what I'm seeing on the technical charts, even though I think we might still experience some short-term turbulence, I still think that we're in a bull cycle and this is not over yet. But of course, these are just my opinions, like the entirety of this video, and it's not financial advice. You guys gotta form your own opinions and strategies, okay? Alright, next piece here, and of course, just going back to this headline here, if I think Bitcoin is still looking bullish, that is gonna bring up a lot of these altcoins as well, including XRP. Alright, let's go back to the next piece here, which is by You Today. BlackRock sells Bitcoin, $47 million in Bitcoin already on Coinbase. I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot, right? I mean, I really don't think $47 million is going to affect the price that much. And also depends on, over what time frame BlackRock is to sell it. If you guys are interested in reading more about this piece here, you guys can in TradingView. I do have an affiliate link in the video description section below. If you guys sign up using my link, I will earn a commission. But I mean, to me, it doesn't sound like it's a lot. $47 million in Bitcoin. I mean, and especially over what time frame? If BlackRock was to actually sell it, I think it's still a question mark here on this headline. Next is by Cointelegraph. Bitcoin trader says lock in as dip buyers enter below 110K. So this still sounds bullish to me, right? Let's read into some key points here. Bitcoin finally sees investors who are willing to buy the dip as prices around 110K. Multiple support retests continue to grab traders' attention. Bulls can still realize a bullish RSI divergence with a strong daily candle close. I do very much agree with this key point, and let me show you guys why on the charts, okay? Let's take a look into... Now, I can't help myself because it's talking about the charts here. And if you guys have been following my channel, you guys know that I am a charts guy. I base a lot of my arguments on the charts, in addition to, of course, some major, some macro factors as well. Now, what I'm seeing here for the daily time frame here is there is still possible bullish divergence here, depending on how this daily candle ends up. Now, what this looks like on the daily time frame for Bitcoin is that the next key support is going to be about 107.5. That is a major support. That is basically your daily 200 SMA, the orange line. See how this bounces. It's going to be a crucial daily candle close. Depending on how this RSI closes, of course, there is still possible bullish divergence. And why is bullish divergence important? Because it usually indicates a bounce. Okay, so let's see where this goes. Very important. Let's take a look into the next piece here, which is by News BTC. Michael Saylor issues rally cry to Bitcoin army starve the bears. Now remember that I did play a video for Michael Saylor yesterday about, I think it was an AI video on his Twitter page. It's funny, but yeah, I mean, same message is gonna be, I still see I still see bullish opinions on this market, and I still see others, saying the same. Of course, there's gonna be the opposite side who thinks that this is the bear market. I don't think so because this bull market for the altcoins have not even started. So we're trying to break out of November 2021 highs. So I just don't believe that this bear market has started, okay? Because the bull market hasn't even started for a lot of these altcoins. Let's take a look for you today. Bitcoin is much better than gold now. Miles Deutscher. Let's see. Let's take a look into what this analyst has to say. Right, Miles Deutscher believes Bitcoin is now a far better investment than gold. Well, gold is very overbought. Okay, his comment comes as gold continues its parabolic ascent, adding an estimated $300 billion in market cap per day, effectively matching Bitcoin's entire valuation every 24 hours. That just tells me that gold is very overbought. Let's go ahead and take a look into gold prices right now, okay? Let's come over here to the charts. I mean, I probably would not buy gold right now. If I was an investor. Let's take a look here. Gold. All right, never mind. It's taking a while, but the point is gold is very overbought. If you just take a look into the monthly time frame RSI, you guys can see what I mean, okay? And I am not about buying into something that's that overbought, okay? Because a correction is going to be coming soon, okay? Let's go ahead and go to altcoins. We're going to take a look into First of all, we're going to take a look into MYRO, which is a request by one of my viewers. If you guys have any requests, you guys can put it in the comment section below. I'll pick a request to do for you guys on a daily basis, right? Let's go ahead and take a look into MYRO here. This is, of course, a much smaller altcoin now, right? Because it has just been getting beat down for the past over a year, right? I've held some of MYRO on the way down. I actually just sold some yesterday. I was on a leverage position, right? I am looking to get back in. Get back in. I do think that there is going to be more appropriate time for meme coins, especially when Bitcoin bounces. But let's take a look into MYRO here, okay? Now, weekly time frame for MYRO. This is a falling wedge pattern that has been forming since the beginning of this year, okay? Falling wedges, you guys should definitely be paying attention to those because those are bullish patterns that have a higher chance of breaking to the upside. And it's very simple. It's very effective to chart these patterns and put the odds in your favor. Of course, we're just talking about probabilities here. Nothing is 100%, right? But falling wedges are bullish patterns. Let's just say if it breaks out by this point, for example, price target would be about 9.6 cents. Okay, 9.6, 9.7 cents price target if it breaks out by this point. That is of course, I can't tell you anything else outside of this target, but price targets are estimates only. Okay, there could be more, there could be less. a lot of it is going to depend on what happens with Bitcoin. Okay, if Bitcoin starts dumping from here, then a lot of these altcoin setups, they're not going to matter very much. So you need to be paying attention to Bitcoin first. Okay, quite a bit of resistance along the way, including your weekly moving averages, your weekly 21 SMA currently about 2 cents, weekly 50 SMA, the white line here about 3.7 cents. So some things to be paying attention to, resistances, because that's where traders are likely to take profits. Let's take a look into a shorter time frame here, where I do see another falling wedge pattern. This is the 4-hour time frame. And let's just say if MYRO breaks out of this 4-hour time frame right now, by this point, for example, price target would be about 1.75 cents price target. So let's see if these falling wedges break to the upside, okay? For MYRO, and of course have to mind the downside risk as well, because I've seen them break down. There's still a smaller chance that happens. Let's go ahead and go to NEIRO, which is another dog meme coin. What's happening with NEIRO? All right, for NEIRO here on the weekly time frame, I'm gonna wait for my chart to load. Sometimes it can take a while. All right, this is NEIRO for the weekly time frame. And I talked about a falling wedge where NEIRO broke out back in February. That is still valid because the price action is still above the upper trend line of that falling wedge, despite the crash last Friday. Price target for this falling wedge pattern that broke out way back, it hasn't really done too much of, is going to be about 0.18 cents almost price target. Now, since the breakout here and since last Friday's crash, it is a falling wedge that has formed as well, okay? Now, this falling wedge price target, let's take the... How do you measure the price target? You measure the opening of the pattern and then you put it on top of an estimated or actual breakout point. Now, if NEIRO breaks out by this point, for example, price target would be about 0.12 cents almost price target if it breaks out by this point. Let's take a look into a smaller time frame for NEIRO. Very similar chart, okay? 4-hour time frame. Very similar chart with MYRO because, well, we've just been moving with Bitcoin, okay, since the crash. A lot like Bitcoin, okay? Seems a lot like Bitcoin. And a lot of it is just going to depend on what happens with Bitcoin, of course. And what's happening here is a 4-hour time frame. Price target, falling wedge. Price target, 0.000. I think it's 3 zeros and two price targets. Let's see if this happens. Let's go ahead and go to Book of Meme. See what's happening with Book of Meme BOME USDT. Gonna wait for the chart to load. And I've been talking about this falling wedge for a little while. This one, on the weekly time frame, has been forming since April of last year. Wow. We've been in this consolidation for quite some time. A few highlights here and there between last March to now. But props to you guys if you guys are still here and if you guys have been here for that long. And for newcomers into this market, this is one of the more interesting bull markets, let's just say. It has not been a straightforward bull market. Very important to not be over leveraged. Very important to be risk managing. You guys are going to hear that term quite a bit. What is risk management? To me, what risk management is having an answer and a plan to all the what ifs I can think of in the markets. And I think all the what ifs you can think of are quite a bit, okay? And having a plan and potential answer to those and what you yourself would be doing in certain situations. That's what risk management means to me. So when things don't work out as expected, like if you see a fake out, you won't be liquidated if you're on leverage positions. All right, so let's go ahead and come back to BOME here. Bigger falling wedge pattern. I invalidated a couple of patterns within these coins I've talked about as well, because they've either been invalidated or their price targets have been met. Let's go ahead and so I talked about a price target that hasn't happened yet, but the price action is still intact within the pattern is still intact. Let's just say if BOME breaks out of this bigger falling wedge pattern by this point now, for example, the price target would be about 1.38 cents price target. Now, it has also formed a smaller falling wedge pattern here since last Friday's drop. The price target for that smaller falling wedge pattern would be about 0.5 cents, 0.52 cents price target. Let's see if it can meet the smaller price target first, and then see what happens, what kind of pattern it forms afterwards, if it does, before coming back here for another update and see if it can potentially hit that bigger price target there. But you're just gonna have to take it step by step and chart what the patterns are giving you, and of course take those price targets into consideration for the new patterns. Now, this basically wraps it up for this video. Let me know if you guys want to continue seeing any more of Book of Meme, NEIRO, MYRO, any other coins in this market by dropping a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll pick a request to do for you guys on a daily basis. I'll see you on the next one.